Hey everyone, welcome back to another reading vlog. There wasn't one last week because I was in Ireland, in Dublin, and then Northern Ireland, so I kind of went all over the island, which was cool. I decided not to vlog last week because I would have been too busy. So I've got a few things to catch you up on, which is exciting. First of all, I had to leave Ireland early, which is a whole thing, so I'm going to go into that at some other point when I'm not distracted by cleaning up the kitchen. But I've read a few books, which is good. I think when I last spoke to you, I was just finishing SPQR, or I had just finished, which was an amazing book. If you aren't aware, it's non-fiction by Mary Beard, and I was listening to the audiobook for about a month because it was quite long. Basically, it's about the history of ancient Rome and talks about Rome from when it began, like the mythology behind the beginning of Rome, and how the city was founded. And then she goes through the Republic and all of the servile wars and stuff like that. She talks about how Rome became an empire, and then it stops just short of the kind of major empire stuff and then the collapse of Rome, which was interesting because I know a lot of books actually talk about the empire as opposed to the ancient history of ancient Rome, which is actually what I'm more interested in because of my Spartacus obsession. I really enjoyed that. Then I decided to pick up another audiobook, which is The Silk Roads, which is another historical non-fiction book about the Silk Roads. Basically, it's about like Middle Eastern, Asian history, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm 4 hours in so far. Not as much as SPQR, but that's probably because I love ancient Rome, and also I really liked the narrator of the audiobook. The narrator of this one does random voices for quotes that he reads, and I find that quite irritating. So I'm not loving this as much, but I am still really enjoying it, and it's probably going to take me all month, next month, to read it because it's even longer than SPQR, and it's huge. For physical books, I've read a few. The first one is Dead Zone by Robsion Wells, which I have mentioned before. I think I was reading it currently in my previous vlog. It's the sequel to Blackout, which came out in like 2013, this came out in 2014. It's like a paranormal dystopian book, and the first book was one that I loved back when I first read it, but this second one I didn't enjoy as much because I think I don't know, maybe I just don't really like Robsion Wells' writing style anymore. It's very like action-packed and non-descriptive. The characters aren't very developed, it's just a very like young YA action book, which if I'm in the mood for them I can quite enjoy, but I wasn't, I guess, for this one, so I'm going to give this one like 2.5 stars. Then I read 2 audiobooks. The first one I finished on my way up to Northern Ireland on the coach, and that was A Girl Like That, and I can tell you this is one of my favourite books of the year so far. It's the only book I've given 5 stars so far this year, and it is phenomenal. I loved it so much and I can't recommend it enough. It's a contemporary YA set in Saudi Arabia. The main character is Indian / Zoroastrian, or both really. She's half Persian, so she feels a bit disconnected from her family because she's not entirely Parsi. She's being raised by her aunt and uncle. Her aunt is awful to her, absolutely awful. And she's struggling growing up in Saudi Arabia. There's a lot of gossip about her happening at school, and right at the beginning of the book, in the prologue / first chapter, she dies along with a guy who was in the car with her. And through a series of flashbacks and then even further flashbacks, we learn about her life and what led up to this point and what her reputation was and why people are talking about her and how they're talking about her and whether or not they should be talking about her in this way. And it was incredible. I loved it so much. I learned so much about the culture, various different cultures I think, because there are so many like meshed into this book, and its own voices, and it was phenomenal. I cannot recommend it enough, so please go and read it. It came out at the end of February this year, so it's a new release, and everyone should read it because it's great. My second audiobook was Killman by Rachel Caine. I read the first one last month, or at the beginning of this month, I'm not really sure. This is the second book in the series. It's an adult thriller, really dark, would highly recommend it. It gets really creepy. I don't think it's as good as the first book, but I did really enjoy it. If you're in the mood for an adult thriller that's different to the kind of girl on the train, woman in the window sort of stuff that's out at the moment, then I would highly recommend this because the main character is just a badass. In this one, she's kind of more on the hunt than hiding, which she was in the first book. So it's slightly different and really good. And then I finally picked up Obsidio because it arrived. I had major issues with Amazon. Not major issues, that's exaggerating because like first world problems and everything. But they didn't deliver the book like I wanted them to because I pre-ordered. So it should have come on the day, but it didn't. So then I got annoyed with them and cancelled my order, and then ordered with Waterstones. So it came the next day. And I waited to pick it up because I was going on holiday and I wanted to focus on it. I'm currently about 48 pages, 50 pages of the way through, and I'm loving it. In case you didn't know, it's the third book in a trilogy called the Illuminae Files. In the first book, a mining colony is attacked by a group called Bhathena. The books are told in like mixed media, like transcripts, chats and all that kind of thing, and it's basically meant to be files that are put together for this trial against Bhathena, who have attacked this mining colony. I'm really nervous about this one. I've seen people crying over it, and it's one of my most anticipated releases of the year because I loved Gemina so much. The series definitely gets better after Illuminae, so if you didn't love Illuminae, I'd still recommend checking out Gemina. I'm really excited to carry on reading this one, so it's probably going to take up most of my week because I'm taking it slowly and savouring it because it's the final book in the trilogy. So that's it for my reading, what you missed and so far this week. I'll give you another update tomorrow because I'm hoping to read more of Obsidio later, and I'll let you know what I think of it so far. So it is Wednesday now. I didn't do any vlogging yesterday because I was feeling a little bit anxious and I didn't really want to talk to my phone, so I didn't do that. But I did do a bit more reading. I've read a little bit more of Obsidio, and I'll give you my thoughts on that later on today because I don't really have time right now because I'm about to go into the office. And I finished a book, and that was Missing at 17, which was labelled as a thriller, so which is why I requested it because I love thrillers, but it wasn't a thriller at all. It was more of a contemporary YA. It's about a girl who finds out that she is actually adopted and she runs away from home, and that is why she is missing at 17, and she meets this really controlling guy, and it's not great. And I'm currently reading a sci-fi book which is more of a novella. I think it's like 150 pages on my Kindle, and that's Blackwelder 2164, and I have no thoughts on that right now, so I'll give you an update later on. Hey everyone, it is Thursday morning, and again I've done a tiny bit of reading. I'm really tired. It's like 7:45 in the morning and I just got to work, so that's why I look a bit exhausted. I just wanted to give you a quick reading update because I've read quite a bit more of Obsidio. I'm about 350 pages in now, I think, roundabouts, and a lot has gone down. I've just got, for those who have read it, I've just gotten to the I am Aiden part and the consequences of what that brought about have happened, and then those consequences have kind of been stopped or halted, and that's where I stopped reading. So I don't know if that helps anyone figure out where I am, but you know, it was a big part of the book. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this, and I'm so glad that I gave the series another go because, like I said before, I wasn't a massive fan of Illuminae, but Gemina and Obsidio are actually fantastic. So my reading plans for today are to continue reading this before I start work because I'm really early, and then also read a bit more of Blackwelder 2164. It is only a short book, so I might finish it today, but I want to make it at least 50% of the way through that because I haven't really been reading that. I've been focusing on Obsidio because I've been slightly obsessed. So I'm going to carry on with that, and then I will probably pick up another physical book. I did buy a book yesterday, because I was buying some other things, and what I actually wanted to buy was an add-on item, so I had to then add more things to my Amazon basket, and the lighting here is really terrible. I don't really know how to fix it. So yeah, those are my reading plans for the day, and the update on my book haul. I'll show you which book I bought when I get home because I don't have it with me. I'll give you another update later on when I've read some more of Obsidio. So my day has been eventful, to say the least. I had to cover unexpectedly because the person I cover for went home sick, which, you know, absolutely fine. But I wasn't expecting it, and it kind of threw me off for the rest of the day. I don't know if you guys get that, if you have like a set plan for the day and then something comes along and messes it up, and then you get a little bit anxious, and then you're like, shit, and then get even more anxious because you're getting anxious in the first place. So that happened, and now I've got a massive headache. I'm not feeling anxious anymore. It was just like very mild, but I feel like I managed to control myself, and I was covering for the afternoon. I did get to leave half an hour early, which was nice, but it also took me 45 minutes to get home because there were roadworks or some kind of like something was delaying the traffic. I'm not really sure what it was. So I was in standstill traffic for ages. And then as I was coming out of my office, I discovered that someone had broken off my flipping wing mirror. The actual plastic wing mirror part is okay. It's just the mirror itself that came off. So I'm really, really annoyed about that. And no one even left a note to apologise, which I find really, really rude. I didn't actually get to read much at lunch like I wanted to. I'm now 360 pages into Obsidio. No, 400 pages. I'm 400 pages into Obsidio and I'm loving it. We're just getting to the grand finale now. I'm going to read some more now before Quill gets home. And maybe even finish it because I might have time, because at the moment I'm currently reading about 100 pages an hour, because obviously some of it's in chat logs and it's just a lot faster to read than usual. So I might finish it, but I'm definitely going to finish it this evening because I'm loving this book so much. And I'm going to be really sad that it's over, but I might reread the series at some point later on in the year and maybe do a buddy read or something, because I think that would be fun. I've got this to look forward to, and I've got a chocolate brownie, and I'm just going to sit on my couch, curl up, try not to cry because my head really hurts. I was going to go to the gym today, but to be honest, I'm not really feeling it, and I just want to lie down, to be honest. So I'm going to try and go 3 times at the weekend, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm not going to overdo it, but I do have boot camp on Saturday, which I'm trying out for the first time. It's a class that I'm doing with an instructor, so that should be fun. And then, depending on your definition of fun, and then my usual abs class is happening on Sunday afternoon, and I love that class so much, so I'm really looking forward to going to that. Anyway, I will get back to you once I've read some more of this book.
Hey everyone, happy Friday. It is the end of the week and the end of this reading vlog, but I thought I'd give you a quick update on what I've been doing. So I finished Obsidio last night, like I said I would, and I really, really loved it. I loved everything about it apart from the ending. I wasn't a massive fan of who lived and who died, to keep it vague. I can't really say much more than that, but if you've read the book then you'll know what I mean. And I highly, highly recommend that you read the book. I've also just started reading Out of the Blue, which I believe is a debut for this year. It's a UK YA book, I think, but I think it's coming out in America as well. And that's set on Earth, and angels, or beings as they're called, because they're not sure if it's a religious thing or not. These beings are falling from the sky and creating massive craters, and I think there have been 84 or 85 of them so far over the past couple of years. And the main character, her mother died 10 days before the first angel fell, or the first being fell, and now her dad has an obsession with researching them and trying to find them, and no one knows why this is happening, and it's really, really interesting so far, which I'm surprised about because I don't normally like paranormal books all that much. It depends what they are really and how they're written, obviously, but they're not my favourite, and I'm surprised that I'm enjoying it as much as I am, so that's good. I'm hoping to read a little bit more of that today before I start work, because I've still got half an hour before I start, and I'm finishing early today again, so I can read a little bit more later before we go to the gym and the cinema. I'm looking forward to that. Let me know what your reading plans for this weekend are, because I'd be really interested to hear them. I'll be back next week with another reading vlog. Thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you then. Bye!